Out of the 26 deals, I only found that first deal. All the rest were brought to me by other people. Number one thing that helped me get to where I am is networking. I love to network. A lot of people consider myself to be introverted, but I guess multifamily just brought the extrovert out of me. I remember the goal setting. My goals, I put on my goals, I'm gonna buy a 40 unit property. Guess what I got? 40 unit property, exactly.
With crisis comes opportunity, and I think we're headed for it as well. I don't think Trump or anybody else can stop what's coming.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstars. So as you guys know, this is where we go deep on our guests' deals, and we give you practical and actionable advice to actually take action with what you learn on this podcast. And even if it's your first deal, and even if you're brand new to this, that's the whole goal here, is to just show you the mechanics of these deals and get you excited about this. And so I've got a real treat today that I was shocked to hear has never been on the podcast, because I see him every other month at my events, and he's one of the first warriors ever to join back in 2017. I'm the one that actually did the call with him to join the program, and so this is a real treat. And he's been hugely successful, over 2,500 units since then, and just this is going to be a lot of fun. Welcome to the show, Ed Modzel. Ed, good to see you, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. Good to see you guys.
It's about freaking time is all I can say on this.
Only 7 years.
It's about time. So, tell us your story, brother, because, I'm going to elaborate on a lot of things that you talk about that I've learned about you over the years. But tell us who you are, where you came from, and all of that, if you would.
Sure. So just got out of the Navy, 1979, got married. Then 1980, I started investing in the first thing was a 5-family, and then smaller after that for 35 years, as I had a career in television.
And where was that investing, Ed? Where was that investing, the small stuff?
Yeah, that was all in the Hudson Valley, New York, Orange County and Sullivan County. Okay. And so, I did that part-time. I did everything. I did the property management. I did the repairs, renovations. My kids grew up coming with me and stuff. So it was a family affair there. But so I had a career in television, 35 years. And then one day, I had a long commute. I loved my job. I hated my commute. My commute was like 4 hours and 20 minutes a day round trip.
Holy crap.
Walking, train, car, all the above. And especially in the winter, you're thinking about, what can I do differently? So I always wanted to, get back into real estate full time and see what I could do. So, I love my job, as I said, but I was starting to coast and I didn't like that feeling. Things were starting to get routine. So I said, well, let me enter the next chapter of my life, So I quit my job in 2015, and then I started flipping houses. Now, over that 35 years, I had about 20 different properties, and they were, all rentals. My wife and I, we would buy a house. This is how it started. We bought a house, fixed it up, bought another house, moved to that second house, rented out.
So you lived in the first one. So you just moved from house to house. Got it. Okay.
After 7 times, my wife Pilar said, "That's
she loved that.
We're staying here." So now we've been in the same house 38 years. So 2015, I quit my job. I get into house flipping. And, that was cool at first, but after 4 months, I said, what the heck did I get myself into, because here I am at Home Depot 6 times a day or whatever like that. And anyways, I stuck it out for a year and a half. And during that time, I became acquainted with syndications and multifamily, and through a local RIA meetings, that's real estate meetings, I met a guy that was pretty successful. and I did 2 limited partnerships back to back, about a week apart from each other.
You did
And
2 limited
writing home,
partnerships. You broke up. You broke up for a second there. Did he break up for you too, Mark?
Just slightly, yeah.
Yeah, just
oh,
slightly.
okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
2 limited partnerships. I did a week apart. And on the way home from the second one, I told my wife, I said, I'm switching over to multifamily now. And, she believed me. And
Mhm.
I had just finished a big flip and I had nothing on the horizon. So that's what I did. And um, I picked, Atlanta as my market. I went through a couple other uh, multifamily groups, 2 other ones, but they weren't giving me what I wanted. Then I found the Warrior Group, and I've been here for 7 years plus. So I started with the Warriors on October 5th, 2017.
Wow.
So from there, I remember the goal setting workshop, right? So I put on my goals, I'm going to buy a 40 unit property. And guess what I got? A 40 unit property. Exactly. So
Okay. I got to stop
jokingly
you.
say,
I got to stop you because didn't we find your? I asked people to fill out a questionnaire at my boot camps. Didn't we
yes,
find yours? Was yours one of the ones we found? Okay, so
yeah.
and it includes goals and stuff like that. And I think I told you about it in Orlando, didn't I? That we'd found this.
Yes.
Could you because I don't remember. Could you describe what was on it? And because do you recall?
No,
Well, you eclipsed whatever was on there. I mean, you had these goals
oh
and you
yeah,
like
yeah.
right. Okay.
Do from time to time find my old goals,
Hmm.
and I do love reading them because you say, wow, I accomplished all that stuff, and maybe
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
better, right?
Oh no, I just remember it just because we located these things and I'm like there were a couple of the seasoned warriors there and I told you and I forgot who else it was but we're like, hey, we just found this, look at what you wrote and look where you are now, and it was just really cool to see all that. So anyway, please, I don't know if I cut you off in the middle of your talk here, but
No, that was
okay.
it.
Okay, yeah.
Well, walk us through that one, that first deal, how you found it, because I see here that you had as Rod calls them, seminars on another one you were looking at before you found that. So walk us through how that all happened.
Well, talk about the first
Sure,
deal here.
sure.
Let's go into that.
Okay, so the first deal. Now I live in New York, not the greatest place for cash flowing multifamily, right? So appreciation maybe, but not so much cash flowing. I'll give you, for instance, the first deal that I bought in Atlanta was a 40 unit, and the taxes were the same as on my single family house that I live in. So that goes to show you why it's better in the Sun Belt and other areas than in New York. So, I picked Atlanta because it looked like a great metropolitan area in the center of all the places that I thought were up and coming. Had a world's largest airport and just a lot of diversity. A very metropolitan city with professional sports teams and music and all that. So I would go down to Atlanta, actually where I am right now. I would go down to Atlanta every 4 to 6 weeks, and I would look for deals. I would have, of course, before that, be talking to brokers at home saying, oh, yeah, I'll be down to Atlanta, next time in about 3 weeks. I'd like to set up an appointment with you. So brokers, as whether you know or not, they work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, if that much. It's not like a residential broker. You're not going to find them on the weekends. So I would set up appointments, like about 10 of them for the week, one around breakfast, one around lunch. Now, I didn't really have a big network of investors then. So it was mostly brokers, property managers, bankers, stuff like that.
Let me stop you if I may. Let me stop you if I
Yeah,
may. So,
sure.
so guys, the way this works is the beautiful thing about our business is you can do it. You don't have to do it in your backyard. Okay, certainly your backyard's the easiest if it's conductive for that. But New York, you know how I feel about blue states. They're just overtaxed, overregulated. Life's too short for that brain damage. So, but the beautiful thing about this is you can do it in another state, but you ultimately have to go there. So like what Ed's talking about here is you build these relationships over the phone, but you've got to go there because that's when the world opens up. When they see that you're real, that you're a real person, you've got integrity, they feel your passion, that's when things open up. Would you agree with that, Ed?
100%.
Okay.
I would go down and talk to a broker. They told me about one deal on the phone. When I get down there, they're showing me like 3 or 4 other ones that are up and coming. So that was very good. And I talk about this nonchalantly now because it is, but for 35 years, I only invested in my backyard, and now I'm only investing, 1,000 miles away, and I don't know anybody in Atlanta. So, and, a couple years later, I would jokingly say to people that I know more people in Atlanta than I do in New York because, you just start networking. And I found like an event that was going on where, all brokers and property managers and hedge fund people were going. And, I met a lot more people there. So after about 4 or 5 trips down there, I got a deal, and it was a 52 unit. I went into contract with another warrior, and we went there. We couldn't inspect any of the units because it was 100% occupied. So we did the due diligence, and there was so much wrong inside those units that, we tried to get some credit on that, but they weren't budging. And we wound up, bailing on the deal. And I was kind of devastated, because, all of this that led up to that. And now we have to cancel the deal. And, we lost a little bit of money, but not much,
Well, and you've heard me say ad nauseum that sometimes the best deal is the one you don't do. So that's why you do the due diligence, right? And it's okay. It's better than moving forward on a bad deal. So yeah.
Yeah. So, after about 3 or 4 days of sulking and self-pity and all that, I pulled myself back up and say, okay, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger type of thing. Because let me back up for a second. All right. I got into this multifamily business at 62.
Wow.
I worked for the man all my life. And I always tried little schemes here and there. And, they never panned out for me. So this time I said, oh, I got to make this work. This is my last shot, So right after that first one fell through, another one became available that a broker that we became good friends told me about. He says, I got one here. It's in contract, but I don't know. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to come up with the money. I could get you right in there. And I looked at it. We did the underwriting. I said, okay, we did that one. And so I remember I closed on that about a year after I got involved, a year and a week.
That was the 40 unit. That was the 40 unit that
40 unit.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
sorry, let's cut this part out.
Cut all this out. We got a little delay going on. I think you've got
Yeah,
maybe some connection issues at wherever you must be at an apartment complex or somewhere, but the connection's not great, so there's a little delay. But the question is, and go ahead, Mark, have him elaborate more on the deal. Huh? Is that what you're going to ask?
No, I was going to more ask just about broad spectrum of, scaling up to where he's gotten today, unless Ed was something else you wanted to talk about that 40 unit.
Okay, no, I guess we could move on. I just,
Because
yeah, that's fine.
Well, just because we rarely get people warriors on here that have been with you for 7 years, so I think he can add some long-term experience that we usually don't get.
Okay, that sounds good. Go ahead and ask your question then, Mark.
So Ed, bring us all the way to today. 7 years later, over 3,000 units, including self-storage. For the people that want to get there at some point that are just getting started, what are maybe 2 or 3 of the key things that you've learned over that time that helped you then scale from that 40 unit to now over 3,000 units?
Yeah, by the way, sorry about that. I forgot to mention the 650 storage units that you're in. You're over 2,500 apartment units, but I forgot about self-storage. So, yeah, sorry to interrupt, but thank you for reminding me about that. So, yes, please answer that question, Ed.
Yeah, I would say the number one thing that helped me, get to where I am is networking. I love to network. I mean, I was like a lot of people, consider myself to be introverted, but I guess multifamily just brought the extrovert out of me or something, So, while I got in that first deal in Atlanta, I told you that I wanted to make sure that I succeeded at this because I've failed at many things in my life. So my wife and I don't recommend this, we actually moved down to the property, and I was going to oversee the transition and the upgrades and the renovations and all that. And that's what we did. I was down there for 17 months and a day.
Wow.
And during that time, I got into several other deals. And so that was a good move that I did that, because I think I got into like 4 other deals while I was down there. I've done 26 syndications over the 7 years, all in the Warrior Group. I've done limited partners too beyond that, but I don't keep track of those so much, maybe 6 or 7 of those. But out of the 26 deals, I would say there's probably only 2 deals that weren't done with Warriors. So all of the rest, there was a lot of Warriors, going
Let me
around.
interject something. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's the power of the program for sure. You said that you because you moved to Atlanta, you got into 4 other deals, and Tony Robbins has a quote, which is proximity is power. And that ties right into that. If you want to really maximize something, you need to be around the area and or the people that are doing it. The other thing I want to mention, just because you brought it up, so that gave me a pass to talk about it. You really were introverted when you came on. I remember I tried to get you on stage to talk about deals. You didn't want to do it. I had to kicking and screaming. now I can't get you to shut up on stage, but back then you wouldn't even go. I'm kidding, of course. But the other thing
I remember I'm a musician. I have played in front of 40,000 people on the drums. So I'm always behind the main person. But, at Rod's event there, I think there were 300 people at the first event, and he was talking to me with the mic, and I was just like, if anybody's old enough to remember the Honeymooners, I was like Ralph Cramden going, hummina, hummina, hummina.
That's right. The other thing I want to bring up that you brought up, because it's relevant, and you are a networker freaking extraordinaire. I remember a lot of the initial boot camps, you would have a networking event, dinner, or a cocktail reception the night before we started. And I'm like, well, that's brilliant. You'd put it out there that you're getting together. And anyway, I just wanted to hammer that piece home. And I forgot where we were in the process here. I hope I didn't derail the conversation too much, but I wanted to talk about those things.
Well, there were, from 2017, the next several years were some really great years, right, in the market and everything. So I took advantage of it, and so the last 2 years not been as great. So I've only done 2 deals in the last 2 years, but I think I think we're at the beginning of a new stage here, a precipice, if you will, or what.
No,
You know, I think
no, it is a precipice. That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
But with crisis comes opportunity, and
Yeah.
I think we're headed for it as well. I don't think Trump or anybody else can stop what's coming.
Yeah.
I want to get into that in a second. But before we do, though, because rarely do we have, again, warriors on here that have done 26 deals, obviously. Looking back at all those deals, Ed, were there any standouts for ones that did really, really well, and then some other ones that struggled or maybe didn't do as well, and maybe some things that you see on those looking back, whether it was the market or the class of property or things that made some perform better than others that you could kind of give advice to?
Yeah. So out of the 26 deals, I'm going to guess, but I would say about 16 of them, I partnered with people that had in-house property management, or they were a property manager. Yeah. In-house property management. And all of those did really well. I seem to have a bad knack for selecting property managers. Otherwise,
I'm laughing already because I know this. I'm laughing. I laughed before you even started. I knew where you were going with this. Yeah. Well, welcome to the club. Yeah.
I picked some bad ones. You know, even after interviewing them for 2 hours, I still wind up changing them out. So there's one surefire way to find out a good property manager, and that is from a referral. Somebody that's using them and they're happy with them. That's really the best way. And
agreed.
And if you have to get somebody that you did not get by referral, then you should speak to some people that are using them currently, for sure. Because, it's when you change property managers, you get a big setback. It's not just like, a week or two. It could be a couple months trying to get through that all.
Yeah, occupancy drops. A lot of issues happen. Same here. I teach this stuff, and I've had to change out property management companies, and so that's one of the pains in this business. And so much relies on the people they hire, the on-site staff, the on-site manager, the regional manager. It can be a crappy company, but if you've got a decent on-site staff, you can get through it. But if you've got a great company and the staff on-site lacks energy and passion and enthusiasm, it doesn't work. So, you've been with me for a long time. You're one of the originals, like in the vampire movie, right? You're an original. And so, as you know, I had a lot of people on this show that are newbies, and I know you add value at a ton of my boot camps. If you haven't been to every single one, you've been to damn near every single one, including the virtual ones. What advice would you give to a newbie?
What advice to a newbie? I would say, learn underwriting, network as much as possible, and try to find a mentor that's doing what you want to do, because that's the fastest way to, get from point A to B, accelerate. I mean, you could do it without a mentor, but, it may take you like 35 years like me. And so those are the biggest things.
Well, you certainly did that, and look at where you're at, and starting at 62. That I know that's going to inspire people your age my age. Frankly, I turned 65 in 3 weeks. So, to get involved. By the way, guys, if you're interested in checking out the Warrior Program, text the word crush to 72345. And so we can help you crush it like we helped Ed here, just a freaking rock star and in the business. So again, to check us out, and we check you out, you text the word crush to 72345, and even if it's not a fit, you'll leave that call better than when you got on it. And I told Ed that I wanted to learn how to do the drums, but the drum set's been sitting in my damn garage ever since I told him that. Tiffy bought me a set of drums. I've hit it maybe 3 times, so it's still something I want to learn. And I remember you kick ass on the harmonica too, from what I heard. He played the harmonica at one of the networking events. Everybody was raving about it. You joined a group that was online, but I digress. Anyway,
hey, great way to network. Use your personal talents to bring people in, right?
Yeah. Everybody remembered me that night, right?
Yeah, there you go, right? No, so let's jump back to the conversation of the current market. I know you mentioned you've done only a couple deals in the past couple of years. I know one of the things that I've done is moved from the Sun Belt over to the Midwest and doing deals in the Midwest with other warriors now. What are you feeling about the warrior? What have been your strategies to get deals done in the last couple of years? And do you feel we're starting a new cycle here? Do you feel there's still more pain to come? Just give me kind of your overall thoughts on what you've done and where we're going.
Yeah, well, I think there's still some more pain to come. Yes. I don't think we hit the bottom yet, but I think we're close. I'm really looking at 2026 as the pivotal year. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I agree completely. There's a lot of distressed assets where the lenders are kicking the can down the curb, and the lenders are using the phrase extend and pretend, because they don't want these deals to hit their balance sheet, because then they lose their ability to lend, and many of these are public companies and so on and so forth. So and then the catchphrase for operators was survive till 25, but I think you're right. I think 26 is when we're going to see some real this thing's going to turn around, and there'll be incredible opportunity. So
yes.
Yeah.
So have you been doing anything differently then? Are you changing markets? Are you just underwriting differently? What have you done to get at least those 2 deals done, if anything different?
Well, if I'm being more picky also in what I'm doing, so that's why I'm maybe doing less. But here's a good tidbit. Out of the 26 deals, I only found that first deal. All the rest were brought to me by other people. The last deal I did was brought to me by another warrior, the 650 unit storage deal. And we have 5 warriors in that group, all doing a great job.
Yeah. Well, that's the power of the program. I mean, it's kind of gotten a life of its own. It's kind of crazy how much it's grown, isn't it, Ed? I mean, from when you started.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Unbelievable.
It really is. Yeah.
I mean, when I first, sorry.
No, please. Please continue.
At that first boot camp, I felt like I was a minor celebrity because I had like 2 limited partnerships and 3 limited partnerships, and you were talking to me on the stage. And now the group is so much bigger, and so much bigger.
I think we're at like close to 250,000 units, which is just insane. That general partner units, not limited partner units, and it's just extraordinary. It's kind of gotten a life of its own.
Yeah. So I know you've done both multifamily and self-storage. What would you say are the pros and cons to each in terms of maybe cash flow, appreciation? Obviously, storage, you don't have to deal with tenants, but what have you noticed? There's kind of some of the good and the bad of storage versus your multifamily deals.
Yeah. Well, we just closed on that storage unit maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and you're right. No tenants, no toilets, no trash. The cash flow, I mean, each tenant is paying a lot less than, at a multifamily. I think I like we'll see how it goes. It's too early to tell on the storage unit. The storage units, though, you can have new storage units crop up in your neighborhood very quickly that, changes the competition there. So that's a little something that you have to deal with. As far as the multifamily, started. I've done a lot of Class C, mostly Class C, and a few, let's be honest, C minus.
That means
And
D, but
yeah,
just kidding.
so I am getting a little bit more picky there. I got to get one of those T-shirts that says "Life is too short for Class C properties," but no,
that's
Class
funny.
C properties can actually be very lucrative too. That first deal that I did in 17 months, there, the ROI on that for the investors was 136%. So that was nice, and
in what period of time?
it was 17 months. It was more like a flip,
Wow.
wasn't it? Well, the market was pretty good then,
Oh yeah, the market
That
was
helps.
fantastic. Market was fantastic then, but I will tell you, and I think that's coming again. I mean, we talk about inflation. Inflation is going to make rents go up as well, and it's not going away. The inflation is not going away. I don't care what they tell you.
It's going back up.
Yeah, it was yeah, I just saw this literally in fact Fox News today. But so one of the last questions, it might be the last question. What is your superpower area, Ed, because this is a team sport. What would you say is your obviously you've got asset management because you manage your own little stuff, which is invaluable for this business. If you've owned a house or a duplex that you rented out, just dealing with that helps you in this business. But what else would you say is your superpower as it relates to our business?
I'm going to say again, networking.
Yeah. Okay.
Every team that we got into, every deal was through networking. I do consider myself good with the asset management. Maybe that comes from my military days, working with nuclear weapons. I don't know.
Wow.
But also in television, I designed all the studios, so there was a project management aspect to it. So that all lends itself to asset management. Biggest skill is networking.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Well, listen, my friend, it's great to see you. Like I said, it feels like I see you every couple of months. That's why I was so shocked that we hadn't done an interview yet, because in my head, I felt like we had. And so, yeah, it's never pretty when you get old and lose your mind. But anyway, it's great to see you, brothers. Please say hi to the boss for me and your beautiful daughters.
Thank you.
And Mark, I'll see you later as well. Take care,
See you
guys.
guys.